Welcome gamers, welcome game designers. We at Biofire Games are back with a brand new game that we are working on. We are 1 month in on a 10-month project. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, we just want to show you our 1 month progress so far. We are moderately impressed. We all obviously could be putting in more time, but we also do more things than just game design. So I hope that is a little clear here, but uh, yeah, hope you guys enjoy seeing our progress so far. Here the adventure starts, on the edge of the city Golgotha. Our main protagonist is a paladin, templar, something like that sort, approaching a city that has gone under a siege. Either an infection or a disease or maybe magical components have turned the city from once it stood to an entire city of the dead. This fantasy horror third-person hack and slash game has had many inspirations like Dynasty Warriors, Devil May Cry, and Bayonetta for the combat style that we're looking to make. And down the road, when we add in the magic components for the player, we're going to be using Magicka as another reference. Dynasty Warriors, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta have a lot of combos in their attacks and use different weapons to get different ways to attack. With these inspirations, we're going to be able to incorporate many weapons into our game. Right now we have anything from a short sword to a great sword, pole arms, and even axes that are planned for the game. Magic will be introduced to the player using ranged attacks. Our weapons will not have a ranged component at all, only our spells will. However, our spells will also weave into a melee combo attack as well. Therefore, you can incorporate different elements into your playstyle, thus making a light attack possibly also have a lightning strike, or a heavy attack also crushing the opponent with an earth strike. With introductions out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what we have done so far. What you're looking at is the intro scene. It is going to be the tutorial level, if you will, to introduce the player to light weapon combat, heavier combat to introduce the heavier attacks, and ranged combat at a certain point. We'll also have two different bosses in the tutorial level. One boss is actually going to be a very simple boss, but is designed to give the player a how-to level up. And on the second boss will actually be an actual challenge. Based on sizing the player and sizing the map, there is already concern for size of the terrain being too small for combat. So that is something we're going to be going back through later once combat actually has completely figured out itself. Animation wise, we have a 4-hit combo. We're still working out any of the speed elements as well as interactive elements. Player obviously moves a little too quick but turns a little too slow. We're also working on the interactables. Right now everything is automatic except for the center area where you pull the lever. Everything else actually opens up automatically. I'm not hitting any buttons to go through these doors. Lastly, we are working on our enemies. We are mostly coding the enemies at this time. We don't have any interesting things to look at the moment, but we are working on what's called a state machine. These are little complex little machines that make it so a certain thing, an object, will do only certain things in that state. Makes sense. If you think of any video game, if you're stunned, you can't attack or move. If you're in a cinematic scene, you can't do anything, and if you are attacking, well, you're able to proceed to the next attack or dodge out of it or things like that. Doing this on the AI level takes a little bit of extra finesse, because you also have to consider that anything that comes from this needs to not copy itself to enemies that don't do that. Think of a stone statue that just swings versus a fully animated AI that's trying to dodge and attack and do different things. Each state's going to be a little different and takes a little bit more time to figure out. Right now we're able to get through different states such as moving and attacking and identifying the enemy / player and attacking the player at a different distance. But you see this guy just wants to run off and do his own thing. Not sure, we're working on it. But yeah, that's as far as we are so far. Month 1 is complete. And that will conclude month 1. So far we are pretty pleased with where we're at, but there is more to go. So with that being said, our player is going to be adding in hitboxes and making sure everything's interactable with other things. Our enemy is going to just become a little smarter, more distinct, a little bit more smarter. And then level design is going to actually take a 2-month process rather than just a 1-month process to get to the next step. So that one is going to take a little bit more to go through. What we're looking at to do for level design is a block out of the first level, but also start to make some little pieces that we can make for later levels as well. So that one's going to be a little less show-offy in comparison. Stay tuned, guys. We do miss you. We're working on our next, hopefully, big game. Stay tuned.